Ah, I could listen to that all day, but we have a wonderful program ahead. So let's try to move forward there. Let me stop sharing my screen. Ah, yes, here we are. So, welcome everyone to our first webinar. As you can see, I'm still learning the ropes of this webinar platform. That was our guest artist, our wonderful mezzo guest artist for this evening, Sasha Cooke, two-time Grammy Award winner and fantastic singer, expressive singer, and passionate singer who's passionate about young singers. And I'm really anxious to hear what she has to say to our singers. She has appeared at the Metropolitan Opera, locally Seattle Opera, of course, and we hope she comes back soon to Seattle Opera and also Seattle Symphony. And very, very fortunate to have her with us here tonight. So without further ado, let me bring her on. Sasha Cooke, welcome.
Hi, everybody. Hi.
Great. So great to have you with us. And I should mention that you're so gracious to be with us, especially getting over this cold you've had. So thank you.
Thanks so much.
Yeah.
I will sing.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I hope you don't mind that I played that excerpt. That's actually one of my favorite pieces. I love Scheherazade.
Oh, I love that piece.
Ah, I love it. I love it. And your performance of it is really beautiful. So thank you for
Thank
that.
you.
Yeah, yeah. Great. So we have of course a lot of student singers that are I'm sure chomping at the bit to sing. But before we get into that, could you tell us first of all, how are you doing with this pandemic and shutting everything down and what have you been up to these days? We spoke just for a few minutes before we opened the webinar, but maybe share with people what you've been up to.
Well, it's certainly a strange time, and I've tried to just take it one day at a time, stay positive. Being a mom certainly takes up a lot of my energy. I was hoping I'd be studying multiple foreign languages and doing lots of live recitals and all of this. That didn't happen, but yeah, I'm putting some repertoire together for next season, and I'm teaching some on the side, which has been kind of nice to grow that muscle, which I don't often get to do, and connect with young singers about music. I mean, just that, to be reminded that I'm a singer, because most of the time I don't feel like a singer these days. And I definitely went through the sad period of losing all the jobs and, keep getting news about things getting canceled. My next trip is in January 2021. So all of the fall has been canceled, and I'm just hopeful that something happens in 2021. I have a couple European engagements, so I'm sort of more hopeful for those because Europe at least is starting to have performances. But I am putting together a project. I decided to commission 15 songs from 15 composers. So that's been that kind of, the minute I decided to do that, the light sort of shone in because I thought, oh, something to look forward to that isn't dependent on a performance. So, yeah, and I did start some conversations on Instagram about kind of body image and discrimination in the business and body positivity, which sort of just kind of came spontaneously. But then it just evolved, and lots of my colleagues reached out to me and said it was something that affected them. And so then I just kept that up. So yeah, I'm trying to work on vocal things that I don't normally get to work on. And I'm revisiting all of this repertoire I haven't seen in 15, 10 years. And I think maybe I wonder if the students relate to that because I feel like the way we approach music right now is changing, which is kind of refreshing, you know?
Absolutely. And I've gotten some notes from some text from people saying that my microphone is that we're echoing, and that's really my fault. I will get my earbuds in once we get our first singer rolling. So thank you, folks, for letting me know about that. I'll fix that in a moment. So, yeah, I wanted to say that I think we have a rare opportunity. Obviously, for us, this is a rare opportunity to sit down with you, an international artist who's usually busy, traipsing around the world, singing all this wonderful music. But I've been so impressed that you are such a passionate champion of new music. I mean, in fact, the Grammy you received for the Revolution of Steve Jobs, right, is a good example.
Yeah, both of them are contemporary works, which is kind of refreshing. It's like, well, hey, maybe there's something good about doing all this contemporary music, you know. I sometimes, and I've said this in interviews, that the Grammy for Best Opera Recording, I mean, I wondered when we won, both times, is almost like an award for the piece too. Yes, it's Best Opera Recording, but it's also like Best Awesome New Opera. Because I did Dr. Atomic, which is by John Adams, which had already been premiered, but it was new, and then Revolution of Steve Jobs.
Fantastic, fantastic. Well, I really could chat with you all evening, but we really should get to our singers, and why don't I just tell our audience, and we have a nice size audience watching here. I can see our participants, so welcome everyone. I see we have almost 60 people in the audience, so that's great.
Oh,
Yeah, I know, it's great. I'm really excited about that. We're going to get started with our first singer. And I will turn my video and mic off. Don't worry, folks. I will turn my mic off, and I'll get my earbuds in so I'm not echoing, having the echoing problem. But I want to encourage people. We have enabled the chat function and the Q&A function in this webinar, and I want to encourage folks to use that. And in fact, if you want to use the chat function for clapping emojis for our singers, that would be fantastic. I'm sure they would love that. And since we have usually an audience responding to what we do as singers, that deafening silence after you finish it feels like an audition or something. Do what you can to encourage them on the chat function. I will sign off and we'll turn it over to our first singer.
Hello everyone. Hi Sasha. My name is Annika Hilly, and this evening, it's evening time now, I will be performing the Nurse's Song from A Charm of Lullabies by Benjamin Britten.
Oh, beautiful.
Thank you.
Well, I get to cheer and clap, so I'm clapping. Monica, that is really, really gorgeous.
Thank you.
Um, so many things are in such really great shape. The only thing I meant to say to the group, I said this before, tell me about why you chose this or why are we working on this particular song? Are you doing it in recital or just learn it or knew it a long time?
I actually did this song last year, last semester, and I chose to do it again just because I always really liked how it's like a lullaby, right? You're singing a baby to sleep, but there's something very intriguing about it. It's not like at rest necessarily. There's something else that you don't necessarily get from the song. And there's not too much information about the song itself either. It's literally just a lullaby. And so I think it was that sense of mystery. And then also, I felt like it was probably best to work on both like higher and lower range stuff,
Hmm.
choose a diverse song. So yeah.
Well, you sound really wonderful. I, when I'm in a master class setting like this, my feeling is to be as honest and just share everything I'm thinking because here's my opportunity with you, and you're going out into the world, and I'm just offering a perspective, from someone you've just met. And for me, the thing that's so crucial about recital and crucial about this is that there be an emotional journey because yes, we want beautiful singing. Yes, we want wonderful diction. You've got all that in spades. But it isn't enough. I want there to be something that happens to the person who's singing this piece. And so we have to sort of infuse even song repertoire with the stakes and the drama of opera. I think there's more in common between those two worlds than we think. So my first question as you were going through it was, who is this person? What is her relationship to the baby? We know she's the nurse, right? So can we assume that maybe she takes care of the child more than the mother? What else can we assume? Something I like to play with is using active verbs. Actually, Jim was just talking about this talk I just did with my sister, who's an acting professor. And part of that I really get from her because she teaches a technique where you are thinking, put to sleep, put to sleep, recall, question, question, savor, savor. And you'll be amazed that we feel what you're feeling. And what's so liberating about that is that it's all in your head, it's protected. We don't know what you're doing, but it just has to be super specific and super, specific. And I like to say, active is important because boring verbs like think or dream or something, you want to choose really great verbs. So just for the fun of it, why don't we pick four for this song? What is the nurse doing in this song? Active verbs. Can you think of one?
Um, Probably. I mean, I'm assuming she's like rocking the baby to sleep.
Okay. Yeah, so lullaby, which is essentially the most literal, but it's just true, lullaby.
Um, she is not necessarily just thinking, but probably pondering, like very deeply thinking about not only the child that she's trying to lull to sleep, but also the future of the child. Um,
Ooh, that's nice.
yeah, I'm assuming
Okay.
because she's like the nurse, she probably knows like the family of the
Yeah.
child.
Hmm.
And so probably knows more contextually about the family and what sort of life the child might lead when it gets older. So pondering, thinking it
Yeah, yeah. Dream. That sounds like dream, like aspire, like hope, hope or
out.
dream. Um, okay, so what you said, there's a mystery in it. So if we want to do the mystery, is she afraid for the child? Let dolours be fleeting. I fancy the eye to rock and to lull thee. I will not delay me. Be still, my sweet sweeting. No longer do cry. Sing lullaby. So it feels like there is something, a mystery. So what's a good verb we could do that shows the depth of her concern?
Maybe maybe she's even like praying. She says,
Awesome.
"God's be thy shield and comfort in need." So
Great. That's beautiful. And then this really dramatic section, right, which Britton tells us, mezzos don't be too loud because we all know you have a strong E, which I love that comment in the notes about this song. Um, but suddenly it gets very, it's not a lullaby anymore. What's that about? What verb could go there?
maybe even like pleading, because she started talking about like the gods be thy shield and comfort in need, like the protection of the child, and then all of a sudden it swells and gets very emotional and just energized. And so maybe that's really just like her big emotional plead to protect this child.
I love that. We have some really great ones. So, dream, lullaby or rock, plead or pray, beg, essentially beg, and aspire. And I even feel like for me, there's like a slight sense of separation from the child, like a goodbye or a letting go. Let go. This is not my baby. I love you, but you're not mine. And I don't know what verb that is, but it is slightly stilted English, British English. So I want there to be a feeling like you're saying it, like it's your journal entry, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So this time when we go through it, can you, and I want you to be spontaneous in the moment, choose which verb you want. If anyone wants to add a verb in the chat, feel free. I'm watching it. If someone has a really good verb, go for it. I actually have a book of verbs somewhere here because the more active, the better, like inflame or cast out or jab or, so, and you'd be amazed. Like, this is what song needs. Also, what space are we in? Is the baby asleep or is he or she almost asleep? I want you to see that baby. I want there to be a conversation. So, are we inside or outside?
When I always visualized it, the nurse was inside, probably late at night, maybe when everyone else is asleep. And so she's trying to kind of keep it quiet so she doesn't wake anyone else up, but then she's like overcome by the emotion and like concern for the protection of the child.
Love it. Love it. So do that whole thing. Go and then maybe at the end, maybe the baby does fall asleep, which is why we get so quiet. So I want you to discover in the moment, oh, she's asleep. He's asleep. We have some great ones here. Treasure, jealousy of the mother. Yeah, how can we turn that into a verb? Envy.
Envy.
What kind of regret not having a kid? Regret. Regret or consider why you didn't or why you don't. Someone said longing, caressing. I love the idea of the treasure caressing. So use that and feel free to use your body if you want to. If you want to feel caressed like in your mind's eye. And this time, so let's go through it. I'm going to give you two things. So do that for me. So perform for the camera if you can, to sing to me like I'm the audience and I'm anything's possible wherever your mind goes. And something I really like to use too is just shifting where you are perspective wise is very specific for us. Like, hi Annika, here I'm talking to you. Had a thought, right? It doesn't matter what I was thinking, but just shifting gaze is really helpful, especially if here we have a baby in the room. So I want you to use that. So you're going from your personal life to the baby. And whenever you get into the bottom of the register, I would love it if you did this little gesture. So whenever we get there, kind of in the low, lullaby, just kind of, yeah. Whenever we get there, click out of the dramatic exercise and just go to a little bit of a technical moment where you're just going to think, speak, speak, speak. There's no competition with the orchestra here. We hear you perfect as day. You have a gorgeous warmth in your voice. The only sensation I had is that you're just darkening the sound the tiniest bit.
Okay.
Not a big deal. But I just want you to kind of think plain. Lullaby. So let's try it. And I'm just curious, what's the first verb you want to start with?
Since it's the beginning part, what was the first one I said? Rocking? Probably that one because it's kind of just
That's very
everything, the scene,
yes.
the stage, if you will.
Yes. And I sometimes like to ask the question, is this a happy or a sad song?
Can it be both?
Totally is both. They often are. But sometimes just asking that question is good for you, kind of where you want to be atmospherically. Like, what just happened right before this scene? You know, it's a crazy cycle, the Charm of Lullabies. It's really great, right? Because it's like wacky, all kinds of moms in this thing. But let's say if you're going to do rock, that we're starting off with happy. We don't know where she's going to go, but right now she's treasuring, caressing, loving, rocking.
Okay.
Cool.
Just do the whole thing.
I'd love to see this verb exercise and see how far you can go.
Okay.
I want to have chills. I want my hair to be standing up on my.
Okay. All right. Thy will tend thee as duly as may be. Lullaby, baby. Be still, my sweet sweeting, no longer do cry. Sing lullaby, baby. Lullaby, baby. Let dollars be fleeting, I fancy thee I, to rock and to lull thee, I will not delay me. Lullaby, baby. Lullaby, Thy will tend thee as duly as may be. Lullaby, 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 baby. The gods be thy shield and comfort in need. The gods be thy shield and comfort in need. Sing lullaby, baby. Lullaby, lullaby,
did you feel?
It was, yeah, I liked it a lot. I felt it was a lot easier to kind of differentiate between all of the repeated sections because, like, it's very repetitive.
Totally. And we can't sing lullaby the same anyway. I mean, we can't repeat the same idea. I think what would be great for you is to try this later in the mirror, just so you can see how much further you can go.
Okay.
Like, and I know I just threw this whole idea at you about verbs, but like here I am, I'm explaining, Annika, I'm explaining, but I'm considering, like we do it all the time when we're talking. We are communicating through our intention, and so pretty notes and pretty sound isn't enough. That's the feeling. See, this is like Sasha off in the career wanting to like add that one more dimension for you, which if you think of your favorite singers, if you thought of your favorite 4, 5 singers, they're not just great voices, right? They're personalities. They have like a thumbprint on their performance. And for me, like when I watch my colleagues, the people who have careers and don't, to me that is a huge defining characteristic. What makes Annika special? Why is her nurse's song different from the next girl? Right? Yes, beautiful instrument. That's all lovely. But there has to be this other magic. You have to have magic, you know? And when just to leave you with one idea, sing lullaby, baby. You're doing a really great job of putting consonants on the pitch. It's beautiful. Lullaby, baby. They're all really pretty. Play around with when you can use a consonant to check in with your support.
Okay.
Like that one is really great if you go s, s, s. It's like there are a couple moments in this piece, low and high, where you can lean in to that consonant.
Okay.
Sometimes I think we think consonants get in the way, and it's the opposite.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. We'll definitely do that. Thank you.
But really beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you, Annika. We should probably move on to the next singer. That was gorgeous. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sasha, for all your help.
Thank you. I will gab on. So, Jim, thanks for interrupting me.
No. I know it's really riveting to see you work with them. It's great, and I hated to interrupt, but we should move on. Yeah, great. Thank you. So let's turn it over to our next singer.
Hello. My name is Isabella Del Toso, and I'll go ahead and answer your couple questions right here. I'm a sophomore, and I'm going to be singing Seguedilla from Bizet's Carmen. I've wanted to sing this aria for a very long time, and I started working on it this summer with my teacher, and I'm just really excited about it. I love how fun and playful it is, and I love how much dimension and complexity there is in Carmen. It's a bit of a dream role. So I'm excited to share it with you all for the first time.
Oui, mais toutes les offres, elle a fait sa sonde, non permettez-le comme jamais ne mon amoureux, elle est patiable, je l'ai mis à la portière, mon vrai cœur, très consolable, mon oreille libre comme il a. Je te la douzaine, mais ce ne sont pas sans mon vrai. Voici la fin de nos semaines qui va m'aimer. Roma. Je me guère le temps d'attendre, car avec une nouvelle amour, révérend père de ses lignes, car mon ami Billy la spazia, me bon serre la segue di guare de Manzania. Ra la 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 la, ra la 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 la.
Awesome!
Thank you.
Fabulous. Well, since I just mentioned it with Annika, I have to just comment on it really fast. Wow, so much specificity. There's so many ideas even just in the intro. I had a whole sense of who you are, what's going on, why would we ever do any less? Why would we ever do any less, right? You're singing to a theater of several hundred seats. But what's amazing is it's not about big gestures or being operatic. It's really about specificity. And I love that you really did that, you know?
Thank you.
That you had, and there was a journey to the aria that doesn't always happen with this. A lot of people just stay in the same place and just play sexy, and that's kind of boring, you know. For me, there are French things that just needed to be improved. For one, and I think, of course, I think French is the hardest foreign language to say. So let me say that, because there is as the French would say, égalité. There is like a quality of pure, equal value to all of the vowels. If you hear a French person speaking English, it's like, so I would not know what you would like to do with this thing, and right? Everything is important and everything is clear. In American, and especially American English, how about to do it? We drop things all the time, and we do a lot of consonants, and the French don't so much. It's a very fluid language. So the way I would encourage you to practice this is really speaking it.
Okay.
Près des remparts de Séville. And I would get that really comfortable, and then I would go to sing it. Chez mon ami Lila Spastia. The ah in French is very bright, right?
Mm-hmm.
J'irai danser la segue. So there are some tricks about this aria which don't appear in every score, like that one. Mm-hmm. And the A's are very closed, right? It's a difference between près, rempart de Séville. Yes.
Cool.
And rempart is such an annoying word because you want to put an M. So I would just speak it. Rempart. Yes. Si. I mean, oui. Yeah. And danser.
Danser.
Oui. See? So it's no vowel, no consonant getting in the way whatsoever. But the only way that really gets into the computer is if you just take the time, especially if we're singing in a language where we're not a native speaker. It can't be half. You can't apologize, right? We have to really go for it. We have to go for it. And the only way we can go for it is if we really know it in our heads. We're like, I know what this is, right?
Yes.
Ségadier boire du manzanille.
Manzanille.
Wait, yeah. Et j'irai chez mon ami de l'Espacia. Was fine. Oui, mais toutes selon s'ennuie.
Oui, mais toutes alors s'ennuient.
Almost. Oui, mais toutes seules on s'ennuie.
Oui, mais toutes seules on s'ennuie.
Oui, and that last second to last syllable is always so hard. S'ennuie.
Nuit.
Yeah, it's sort of works for me is thinking the E and not thinking nuit. It's definitely not nuit. It's just you want to get to the E as quick as you can. So I think nuit.
Nuit.
Yeah, great.
Cool.
So when you're looking at this and you're not singing it, you just go there all the way. Et le vrai plaisir. Oh, look, there are 3 open E's in a row. Le vrai plaisir, right?
Le vrai plaisir.
Right. And the minute you know, oh, they're all the same, suddenly it becomes more legato, easier. Sont à deux.
Sont à deux.
Great. Donc,
Donc,
pour me tenir.
Pour me tenir.
And with ours, with French, we want to be really selective about when we use them.
Okay.
And if you're going to use them, just do one flip, like pour me tenir.
Pour me tenir.
And you notice right there, me and te are the same.
Me te. Yeah.
Right. So, and when you're speaking it right now, it sounds nice and legato. And
Yeah.
when you were singing it, sometimes it just, and it could be Zoom too, just sounded just a little choppy.
Yes.
And you heard my French impersonation. When I'm speaking French, I do not come off of the sound. It never
Very
goes
sweet.
away. Yes. Oui, mais toutes seules s'ennuient et les vrais plaisirs sont à deux. It's all, Bizet never, he never wanted rubato.
Right.
He's very specific. You see this rest that's like a 30-second rest. Oui, mais toutes is all very specific. And even the schwas at the end are very specific. J'emmènerai mon amoureux.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, mon amoureux. So for me, I would love that you just sat and spoke it, and the open es were clearly open. The closed ones were clearly closed. And for the thing that makes this song work is, and you've probably heard of this, called accent d'insistance, which means, have you heard of this? Probably have.
I think I've heard of it. I'm not.
Yeah. It's where in French, particularly the French language, you emphasize the syllable before the accented syllable.
Right.
That makes our ear, it makes our ear understand it. And Bizet puts it everywhere. Près des remparts de Séville.
Right.
J'ai mon ami lit l'espace. Yeah, that's fine. J'irai danser la Séguedille, boire du manzanilla. J'irai chez moi du sauce. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because if you go, près des remparts de, I don't know what you said.
Yeah,
But if you go,
the same.
près des remparts de, suddenly my ear goes, oh, that's a word.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So play with that. But right now, just for the heck of it, I would love for you to sing this whole thing on B, 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 B.
Cool.
Okay? And as you're going through, imagine there are little glissandos between the notes. So almost sloppy.
Okay.
Okay, let's see what happens.
Cool. Thank you.
awesome. What was that like for you?
You know, it was interesting because I was trying to figure out where to put the consonant of the B, but when I could do the vowel, it was just smoother and more consistent and less choppy.
Well, it sounded very legato.
Okay, good.
Even
it felt more even, and the registers felt more even as well. I didn't feel like I was pushing.
Yeah, and I think you should play around with that because, you know, in this role, you have plenty of time to do chest voice. I think you should be selective about when you use it, you know, and you know, what we talked about with Annika, you know, with the verbs, you've already like put some time into choosing that. So let that infuse your vocal choices. And you know what I mean? Instead of having one color for low this or one color for high that. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like be a little bit more, you know, and just Carmen-esque in the way you sing too.
Right.
I think sometimes people just think, I'm gonna sing Carmen. Which I think is great to use when you want to. But you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And your voice, and I think I said this to Annika too, I have this great luxury today working with all these mezzos. You already have fabulous warmth. You don't need to add, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So when you do, make it a choice.
Okay.
As opposed to, I always go to this place vocally. You know what I mean? Because that registers with us a certain confidence. You know? Cool. But really beautiful. And I hope that the French stuff is helpful. You know, I like listening to people speak. You probably can find this text spoken on YouTube. I mean, I find that very helpful. Just go to native speakers and slow it down. Mon, sa, ni, you know, just to kind of feel it in the mouth.
Okay, awesome. I just started my French studies, so
awesome.
I'll go talk to my professor.
That would be, I'm sure they would love that.
Yeah.
Cool, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Isabella.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you. I have to be bad cop and interrupt. I hate that. But
I'm sorry to spend so long with everybody.
No, it's great. It's wonderful. Thank you so much. Great. Wonderful job. Thank you, Isabella. Okay, so we go on to our next singer.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, Sasha. My name is Ella Ekstead. I am a senior at PLU, and I will be singing Heart, We Will Forget Him from Aaron Copland's 12 Poems of Emily Dickinson. And I started learning this song last semester, and I am a person who likes to challenge myself with music and in just kind of a lot of areas, and I was choosing between Heart and Going to Heaven from the 12 Poems of Emily Dickinson, and I really wanted to challenge myself and do Going to Heaven, and I have learned it, but I could not tear myself away from Heart and I'll sing and you'll see, but it's just, I couldn't tear myself away. It was so beautiful. We will forget
amazing. Well, you didn't have to tell me you love it so much because that was felt. Isn't that a nice thing? Hold on to that. It's very special to treasure something so much, you know. And I do like to say, you know, if we don't love what we do, it's not worth doing it because there are too many. If we have time at the end for Q&A, I'm always happy to talk about the lifestyle because it is hard and there are a lot of compromises and it's a very strange, lonely life. And what you have and what you just showed for all of us is that connection that no one can touch, you know. So that was really beautiful. I when I looked at this, I wondered what does happen in 2 pages. Is there a change, or does the character end where she starts?
I would say it stays the same. I would say from the beginning, the way that she talks to, I really like the duality of like the heart being separate from the singer, and the way that when she talks to the heart in the beginning and says we'll forget him, at the end I feel that it's the same. She's finally, there is in this song a duality of between like the heart loving this person so deeply and not being able to forget them, and that comes in through the singer. Like the heart is also a part of the singer, but like the intellect of the singer wants to forget that, and it's kind of a battle throughout the song.
So, okay. So is there a decision that, you know, so we will forget him, or is it just a way of saying we won't?
Say it again?
So is the meaning literal? Is it really heart, we will forget him? I forget him. Or is it I will not forget him?
No, I think it is that we will forget him.
So it's saying, heart, you're going to listen to me? Okay. Well, I had a different interpretation of your performance.
Interesting, okay.
Because it felt very much still in love.
Well, that's the thing. The heart is still very much in love, and the heart is... It is the heart of the singer, which is very strange. Like, the singer feels both. They are still very deeply in love, but the intellect is saying, I can't do this anymore. This hurts too much. We need to, like, get past this. We need to forget him, because I'm still in too much pain.
Okay. Well, that to me, what you just sort of played out was a little bit of a journey. Yeah. So, and there's certainly space in the song for both, right? And we have a climax, we have a contemplative section, we have doubt, we have release. So there's a lot going on, even just in 2 pages.
Yeah.
Heart, we will forget him. 2 things, like diction-wise, that came to my ear that I like to encourage. With W, sometimes you can replace it with an U vowel. And with Y, sometimes you can replace it with an E vowel. So heart, we will forget him. You and I tonight, you may not forget the warmth. I know it sounds crazy when I'm speaking it.
But when it's singing.
Yeah, when you're singing it, I think it would add an expressive quality to this. I will forget the light. I'd love... and again, it could be Zoom, but I would love for you to really exaggerate right now for an experiment. So go as far as you can to really enunciate everything, text-wise. And then, just for fun, can we do something where you do this the entire time you're singing? Yeah. And what I'm kind of encouraging with this too is that you ignore us. This is not for us. I want you to do it for yourself.
Okay.
But I really want you to go there with the text. Heart, heart. Why not? This is a big haul, right? And you'll notice if your fingers stopped moving, then get them to move again.
Okay. Heart,
Was that a little crazy?
I just noticed when my fingers would stop for a second. I was like, oh no!
Yeah. I thought it was great because it usually just means your mind went somewhere, you know, but the idea is that you're connecting with your breath and you never hold, you know. I find that the difference from going from your 20s into your 30s is that there's just more and more of you there to give, you know, and that you can lean into yourself more. So, yeah, it's a physical gesture, it's a trick, but it's something visual about seeing, oh yeah, just because it's a long note doesn't mean I'm holding anything. Does that make sense?
No, not that I'm
So,
holding.
meaning if you're moving your fingers like I am now, the air is reminded to keep going, to stay
Okay.
engaged, to
Yeah.
stay active and vibrant, as opposed to holding a note. Not to say you were holding, but you know what I mean? It just
Yeah.
adds that's what it does for me. And I don't know about you guys that are watching, but diction-wise, that was great, right?
Yay.
Never any less. Perfect.
All right.
There's something interesting about how when you go further with enunciation, it actually helps the singing.
Yeah, I did notice that. I was like, oh, that came out a little better.
Well, I mean, it was great before too, but it's just, you know, it's surprising because sometimes we think that singing has to be separate, but all of these things help each other. When you're more dramatic, your singing improves. When you go further to the text, your singing improves. It's like commitment brings commitment. It's like, I'm committed to what I'm saying, so my body's like, okay, we're going to sing it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But beautiful.
Thank you.
Really wonderful. Thank you, Ella. Wonderful.
Thank you, Sasha.
Thank you.
That's great. Okay, so our final singer is coming up, and then we'll maybe have a couple of minutes, not very long, but we'll have a couple of minutes for question and answer.
Hi.
Hi, Sasha. My name is Gillian Dawkins, and I actually graduated from PLU last year, but I am getting my master's at PLU currently to get certified to teach, in case this whole performance thing doesn't work out.
Awesome.
But today I'm going to be singing Chacun a son goût from Die Fledermaus by Johann Strauss. And the reason why I picked this piece is because I absolutely love all pastorals. I think they're a blast and a half. And I'm also working a lot on studying my body because I have some unnecessary movement issues. And I think this character is great for that because he is so restrained. So, yeah. Okay.
Ich lade gern mir Gäste ein, man lebt bei mir recht fein. Man unterhält sich wie man mag, oft bis zum hellen Tag. Zwar langweil ich mich stets dabei, was man auch treibt und spricht. Indes, was mir als wert steht frei, tut ich bei Gästen nicht. Und sehe ich es an, wie jetzt sich jemand hier bei mir, so pack ich ihn ganz ungeniert, werf ihn aus zur Tür. So pack ich ihn ganz ungeniert, die Flöhen aus zur Tür. Und fragen Sie, ich bitte, warum ich das denn tu? Warum ich das denn tu? Sie ist mal bei mir, so sitte, chacun a son goût. Sie ist mal bei mir, so sitte, chacun a son goût. Wenn ich mit andern sitz beim Wein und Flaschen leer, muss jeder mit mir durstig sein, sonst werde grob ich sehe. und schenke Glas um Glas ich ein, tut ich nicht Widerspruch. Nicht leiden kann ich's, wenn sie schreien, ich will nicht hab genug. Wer mir beim Trinken nicht pariert, sich ziert wie ein Tropf, dem werfe ich ganz ungeniert die Flasche an dem Kopf. Dem werfe ich ganz ungeniert die Flasche an dem Kopf. Und fragen Sie, ich bitte, warum ich das denn tu? Warum ich das denn tu? Sie ist mal bei mir, so sieht chacun à son goût. Sie ist mal bei mir, so sieht chacun à son goût.
Awesome! That was so fabulous, Gillian. My goodness. Some people really struggle with this aria, and you don't at all.
Thanks.
It's a piece of cake, right?
It does. It feels really vocally easy.
That's really good. Well, since we're kind of on a theme, a little bit of dramatic stuff, I'm curious, what does he think of this moment? What exactly, if the subtext could be in one sentence, what might it be?
Welcome to my house, and it's gonna go my way.
Okay, yeah, I definitely sense that attitude, a little bit of annoyance. Well, I mean, is this character a party lover, or what are like 3 words that describe him?
Yeah, he's I'm trying to think of the right word. I guess like lush would be the right word. So he's a total lush, and but he's also highly pretentious, and but he's also really trying to get everyone to respect him.
Okay, I like that. So his guests are not necessarily good friends.
I don't think so, no.
Okay, so it's a bit more of a performance then.
Yeah, I think that he genuinely does take himself this seriously, but he's highly frustrated that other people might not take him this seriously, so he's trying to be very put together.
I was thinking as you were creating him that he felt a little like laced up. He felt a little collected and organized, and I kind of wanted just a little bit more reckless, a little bit, schwung, some sort of cockiness that goes into the body.
Okay, I can give you that.
Yeah, that would be great. And I want you to play with what this gesture is, right? Because it's so beautifully sung, but if you think about what Strauss was going for, it can be a little bit more of a gesture. So if it were an emotional thing, what is it? Is it a cocky, swing of the hair, or is it seeing a new guest? I want it to have emotional reason. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
I don't know what it is, but I want there to be one so it doesn't just sound like, beautifully sung mezzo, great voice. I want to be like, oh, I want to cast her as this tomorrow.
Okay.
So let's just change the whole thing. He starts off, he's explaining it's the party. This is my show. I'm just going to tell you how it goes. And then you mentioned 3 things. So he's cocky, he's giving instructions. There's a performance aspect to it. So could there be a darker section of this? I think sure, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I want you to just go there. I want to see 3 different sections. And in your room, I mean, this is a big room, right? So create it and be surprised by people in the space with you. And then with these gestures, these vocal gestures, make them a bit more emotive. And I would play around too with when you want to be marcato and when you want to be legato. I don't think it's all in one place. Yeah?
Okay. Yes.
And that's kind of also showing the character. I know that there's this like performance practice of all kind of doing it the same way, but I wanted to see if you could just have a little bit more fun, a little bit more liberty.
Okay. Sounds good.
Awesome.
Should I start from the top?
I think so, if that feels good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Ich lade gern mir Gäste ein, man lebt bei mir recht fein. Man unterhält sich, wie man mag, oft bis zum hellen Tag. Verlangweil ich mich stets dabei, was man auch treibt und spricht. Indes, was mir als wird, steht frei, tut ich bei Gästen nicht. Und sehe ich es ennuiert, sich jemand hier bei mir, so pack ich ihn ganz ungeniert, den Flasche an den Tour. Den werfe ich ganz ungeniert, die Flasche an den Tor. Und fragen Sie, ich bitte, warum ich das denn tu? Warum ich das denn tu? Sie ist mal bei mir, so sitte, chacun à son goût. Sie ist mal bei mir, so sitte, chacun à son goût. Wenn ich mit andern sitz beim Wein und Flasche leer, muss jeder mit mir durstig sein, sonst werde grob ich sehe. Und schenke Glas um Glas ich ein, tut ich nicht Widerspruch. Nicht leiden kann ich's, wenn sie schreien, ich will nicht, hab genug. Wer mir beim Trinken nicht pariert, sich ziert wie ein Tropf, dem werfe ich ganz ungeniert die Flasche an den Kopf. Dem werfe ich ganz ungeniert die Flasche an den Kopf. Und fragen Sie, ich bitte, warum ich das denn tu? Warum ich das denn tu? Sie ist mal bei mir, so sitte, chacun à son goût. Sie ist mal bei mir, so sitte, chacun à son goût.
That was awesome. Did anyone think that was too much? No, not too much.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, fabulous. I mean, why wouldn't you do all of that? And it was so specific. And of course, then we're thinking about you and the character, and we're not thinking of us singing at all, even though, of course, that was wonderful too. So wherever you go, we will go. And why not go far?
Yeah, it is a comedy after all, right?
Yeah, it's true. It was great.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you, Gillian. Well, wow, that's great. Really fantastic. So I want to thank all of our singers. We only have a couple more minutes, and I want to see if well, first of all, I should thank our pianist who recorded all of these accompaniments, Amy Bowers, who I think is tuned in today. So everyone, applause in your chat for Amy Bowers. Thank you, Amy. Wonderful job there, and providing all those recorded accompaniments, which is quite a lot to do. And we have many more of these coming up. So thank you. And good. So I guess a question occurred to me. You've said a lot of wonderful things, Sasha, in the course of your time with us. But one thing occurred to me, and I'd be curious to hear what you have to say. You've pointed out the importance of being more than a good singer, and a real communicator, which is something that you specialize in, I think, because you make a beautiful sound, but you're really a communicator, which is wonderful. Um, I'm interested in your progression, especially for our young singers watching tonight, in your progression from your training into emerging professional into the professional you are today. Um, I just wonder what sustained you through all of that.
Hmm. Well, I mean, I think um, feeling very lucky. I think never taking anything for granted. Um, and people often ask, like, what was the most fabulous experience, or what was the career, the break or something? And I don't really think in those terms. I Everything feels like a great thing in any place. So I think that sustains me, and that's why I mentioned to one of the singers that joy, because I know colleagues that lose that joy or that have a lot of difficulty in their lives, and that's hard. It's a very lonely life. There is a lot of, addiction and infidelity and loneliness and. It's not easy. So that's especially hard if you have a lot of anxiety, if you have bad nerves, if you're not really enjoying it. So I think for me, what the hard part of the career for me has been getting tired, doing too much. And the good part of the career, what has sustained me, is always loving it. And I've always thought, the minute I stop enjoying it, that's when I need to, you know. So I mean, I have all these recollections of having bad jet lag, or getting sick. And I remember thinking, gosh, I still love it. Like, even on the stage when I feel a little bit like I'm hurting. Once I had a recital in New York, and I was staying with my friend who's on the faculty of Juilliard, and she said, I'd lost my voice. I mean, I was so scared. And she said, Sasha, just remember, your voice is just one part of what you bring. And I was like, that's so true, what you have to say. And I think that I get rehired. I mean, I sent you this document that I share with students sometimes. The four things I think are really crucial are gratitude, openness, preparation, and your gut instinct. And I think one of the reasons I get hired back is because when I go, and I've been told this, my management said, you have a very high rehire rate. I was like, oh, that's a thing. But when I go on stage, I'm not thinking, how pretty is my dress? How perfect is my album? I'm thinking, thank you for having me, and thank you people for coming to this hall, and thank you Mozart for writing this music, and thank you, and I feel like that both benefits me and it benefits the crowd, because then they're like, oh, we're here for this nice moment.
Yeah, yeah. That's a wonderful thought, the gratitude. It sounds like gratitude sustains you more than anything. Gratitude for the art form and for the opportunity. And we are certainly grateful. That was a great segue for you being with us today. And I should mention that I noticed that your engagement in January of 2021 is in Portland. Or you have one in Portland, I should say, that I saw on your website.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to give a plug for that? If we can even get tickets, but you have a duo recital coming, don't you?
Yes, I hope it's happening. I hope it's happening with Susanna Phillips. We're doing a recital in January. And actually, I'm also back. Well, Seattle's not exactly close, because I was going to say I'm coming to the Chamber Music Festival there in the summer. I adore that area. I love Tacoma. Oh, did I just say Seattle's not close? I meant Portland. How far are they from each other? It's like
well, Portland is about 2 hours south of us, and then Seattle's about 45 minutes north. So
I knew this.
In no traffic. But.
The Seattle is in July, and Portland is in January.
January, yeah, right.
Yeah, and I'm updating my website. Another one of the things I can do during this time. So if you check, it'll be there soon. I'll have the dates correct and everything.
Great, yeah. So everyone do check Google to find Sasha's website. It comes up quite easily if you just Google her name with Mezzo, and you'll find her. I plug for your Instagram account as well, where
thanks.
The Sasha sessions are really are worth seeing. They're really wonderful conversations that you have with professionals in the field, but also family members, as you mentioned, the one with your sister. that I really enjoyed, and I'm interested in her book in acting as well that I
Oh,
want to
it's
check
great.
out.
Oh, that's so kind of you. Yeah, it's called Seven Pillars Acting. And I like to say if anybody has a question about, anything, you can always email me. It's just my name at gmail.com. My last name has an E on it. So if you do Sasha Cook at Gmail, but I like staying in touch with people, and I wish honestly there was more contact between professionals and students because it's so hard to know what the real world is like when you're a student. And every now and sometimes it's as simple as that, just writing an email and saying, hey, I'm going to go fly to Berlin, do you know anyone I should sing for? You never know. It's just
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, we are so fortunate to have you with us tonight, and really appreciate you. I know you're probably on. Are you in? Do you live in the Houston area? Is that right?
I live north. I'm in the Woodlands, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And where Soon Cho and I met a long time ago,
I know.
Rice University.
Soon is another mezzo mama, and she had to go take care of her baby, and so she says she's going to be
Oh,
in touch with you to say hello in person. So,
oh, please
yeah,
send love for me. I adore her.
yeah,
My
we'll
gosh, I
do.
still remember her singing so well.
Yes, yeah, beautiful singer, and another beautiful singer, Holly Boaz,
Yes,
is on our voice faculty here at PLU. So, yeah,
I just saw that.
small world, small
Hi,
world.
Holly. Yeah, small world.
Yeah. Again, Sasha Cook, thank you so much for joining us. And again, thank you to all of our audience members and our wonderful young singers. Thank you for singing tonight. Great job, everyone. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.
It was so beautiful, you guys. Gorgeous.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Have a
Sasha.
great night.
Thank you. You
Great.
too.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.